it seems that according to our top neuroscientist, Gen Z, the current young generation, that's what between 1990, the generation born in 1997 and 2012 or 13, that generation is apparently dumber than the previous generation. And this is historic because this is the first time something like this is happening. Because every generation for, I don't know, centuries or something has been smarter than the previous one because they have more stuff, they have access to more things, more information as compared to the older generation, and they're able to build on that. And you think that in an age of technology, with so much information available, the newer generation would be even smarter than that. But that doesn't seem to be the case, and honestly, I don't find that all that hard to believe. Because as much information and as much technology and access to technology is available, not all of it's good because there's a lot of social media, and Gen Z's really into social media as opposed to the millennials, the previous generation, where some of them are really into it and the others weren't really into it. Although nowadays everyone's on it, Gen Z was using that stuff at a much younger age, and the older millennials and all that didn't really use it that much. And I kind of found the category of the younger millennials, so I kind of used it, but it wasn't too bad. But the younger Gen Z, yeah, they were fully into social media and technology, and I feel like that's probably the reason because they have so much information, easy access to information, and then there's the problem with the short form content. Now with so much information that's so easily available, you don't really have to work that hard to forget information, and you're not making your brain work harder. So that's the thing, because with all the AI stuff, you can do anything so easily. You don't have to exercise your brain, and that is a problem. And then there's the short form content that's kind of ruining people's attention span because you're getting that, what is it, dopamine hit from the short form content when you get those small 30-second to 1 minute videos. And because of that, you really don't have the patience to watch long videos, and that's kind of a problem. And then there's the thing about them using this stuff at such a young age when their minds are developing and all that. I mean, a lot of the really young Gen Zs are using it, were using it since what? They were under 10 years old, and that's a big phase in a person's life when their mind's developing and all that. And them using this stuff, we don't really know how that would affect it, but it seems like they're getting dumber now. And if you look around, honestly, you can kind of see it if you really look at the age demographic of the people. I'm not saying that all of them are, but it does seem to be something that everyone's noticing. And nobody really has any patience for it. And even on the road, nobody seems to have any patience. Everyone's in a rush. They're not really careful and all that. And when you're talking to a lot of younger people, yeah, you kind of see it. They all know all the modern trends. They all know all the modern brands. They all know all the modern tech, but they don't really have a lot of information on it. And I'm not saying this is everyone, but I am starting to see it. And I think it's big enough to be seen as a bit of a problem now. And I think the world's starting to recognize this because social media is being banned in a lot of countries for ages under 16 and all. And I'm guessing that every country at some point will do it because this is becoming an issue for mental health, for attention span. And oh yeah, the other thing is because of social media and all this being available from your phone, people don't have to go outside anymore. They can get the dopamine hit, the entertainment they want. They don't have to be bored when they're inside. As opposed to the old generation who would go out, do stuff, talk to people, hang out, go on trips. Although younger generations do seem to be going on more trips. But I don't know. I don't know how that's different, but maybe they just go once every few months and that's the time they spend in the house That would be believable to me. But yeah, this is becoming a serious problem. And the fact that this generation with this much access to all this stuff, the fact that they're not as smart as the previous generation, it feels like a big problem. And now I'm really even more about what's gonna be happening with Gen Alpha, because Gen Alpha were the iPad babies. They were the kids that really had the iPads available. Honestly, all the really small kids I know, they have some sort of tablet. They might not be the iPad. The iPad is so expensive, but they have a tablet or phone. And at least with Gen Z, they at least had a few years without it. At least from 5 to 7 or something, they didn't use this stuff. But these kids, they're using it honestly as early as they could probably hold the thing. And it is a problem. And well, how to fix this? Honestly, for Gen Z, I don't know if you can fix this. Maybe you could. It'll probably be difficult. But for Gen Alpha, yeah, I think it's gonna be really more difficult, because I see a lot of the Gen Alpha kids, and yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the parents and all that for them, because they're kind of letting the kids do whatever they want, give them social media and all that stuff. I don't think that's having a good effect, because I'm seeing a lot of small kids doing a lot of stuff that I don't really like. I'm not gonna get into that, but it does seem to be something that's happening, and because of this, yeah, I don't think this is gonna be great for human civilization in the future. If we're completely relying on tech and we're not able to think for ourselves, I don't think that would work. And I think AI is gonna be an even play an even bigger role for Gen Alpha and Gen Beta's born into the AI world. So I don't see any way they're not gonna be using AI. So yeah, all of this, it does seem like a problem, and I feel like this is not gonna be good for everyone. But hopefully, the world starts taking notice and we do something to fix this stuff, and more attention is drawn to this stuff. So yeah, apparently Gen Z is the first generation in centuries or something to be dumber than the previous one, and that's a really sad thing to think about in this age.